We've got some exciting news for all you Marvel maniacs out there.
That's right. We're inviting you to join our exclusive Marvel Movie Minute membership program.
For just $5 a month or $55 a year, you'll gain access to a world of marvelous perks that will make you feel like you've been hit with a dose of super soldier serum.
As a member, not only will you get bad puns like that, you'll also get your own private podcast feed delivering early, ad-free episodes straight to your ears faster than Thor's hammer flying back to his hand.
And members also get access to periodic bonus episodes exclusively for our most dedicated fans. Consider it your own personal Jarvis for Marvel movie content.
Plus, you'll gain entry to our exclusive Discord community, where you can chat with other Marvel fanatics just like you. It's like you're assembling your very own team of Avengers.
Most importantly, by becoming a member, you'll be directly contributing to the show you love and helping us keep Marvel Movie Minute running strong. We value your support more than all the vibranium in Wakanda.
We can't thank you enough for being part of our journey through the MCU. You're the Pepper Potts to our Tony Stark, always there by our side.
You're the arc reactor to our Iron Man suit, the Heimdall to our Thor, the horny jokes to our Deadpool.
The gamma radiation to our Bruce Banner.
Well, maybe not that one.
I'm sorry.
So what are you waiting for? Don't be like Hawkeye, always getting left out of the action.
Head over to truestory.fm/join and become a member today.
Join us, and together we'll explore the Marvel Cinematic Universe like never before.
Step up to the streets and become the hero of your own story.
Excelsior, true believers. With your support, we'll make this membership program a smash hit. Before we dive in, here's another show you can enjoy in the True Story FM family of entertainment podcasts.
Horror movies get a bad rap. They're cheap thrills, mindless gore, not cinema, blah, blah, blah.
But we here at Sitting in the Dark know better. We know that horror is more than just jump scares and chainsaws. It's a reflection of our deepest fears, our anxieties, Okay, and there's a lot of jump scares and chainsaws.
Join us, Pete Wright, Tommy Metz III, Kyle Olson, and Keenan Diaz, as we cut into the dark heart of horror cinema.
Every episode, we explore a different facet of the genre, from survival horror to home invasions, from zombies to birds. We tickle the tropes, analyze the angles, and sharpen our own axes along the way.
We'll introduce you to the classics that shaped the genre.
And the modern masterpieces that are pushing the boundaries of terror.
Sitting in the Dark is your guide to navigating the terrifying, thrilling, and sometimes hilariously bad world of horror movies.
We'll help you understand why we love to be scared.
And maybe even convert you into a horror fan yourself.
So turn off the lights, close the basement door,
and join us.
Sitting in the dark.
In a world where podcasts are a dime a dozen, one show dares to stand out from the rest.
The Film Board, a podcast unafraid to tell it like it is.
We're here for one reason and one reason only. Downloads.
That's right. We review new release movies because that's what gets people's attention.
But just because we're in it for the clicks doesn't mean we don't take our job seriously.
We're part of the Next Reel family of film podcasts, and we're proud of it.
Our reviews are just as insightful and thought-provoking as any of our other film podcasts.
It's just that this podcast is all about that sweet, sweet SEO.
The nectar squoze from the tree of Bing.
We're only human, but we're also creators.
And creators eat clicks to survive.
So if you want honest, unfiltered opinions on the very latest movies right on opening weekend,
delivered with the self-awareness of a team looking for downloads,
then tune in to the Film Board,
where every download counts, but yours counts the most.
Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a weekly podcast in which we disassemble a film from the Marvel Cinematic Universe into 5-minute segments and then examine them in obsessive and occasionally hilarious detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Storywell podcast.
Hey, and I'm Rob Cabasco. And Kyle.
Yes, Rob.
You know, I originally thought about beginning today's episode with pondering about our lives and how each of our stories can be complicated. For example, how a young boy could be born in present-day Poland, then lead have a lifelong fascination with astronomy after being given a telescope at a very young age, then work to create weapons of mass destruction that are directly contributing to the 20th century's most infamous tragedy, and then be the key contributor in accomplishing the 20th century's most celebrated venture. Hold your beers. We'll get to that. Instead, Kyle, I want to begin with something else. I would like you to guess the top 5 tattoo designs of all time based on Google search data. Go.
Wow. What are my search terms?
No. Like, okay, so what do you think? What do you think someone's gotten? Who's gotten what creature, what object? What has been the theme of the world's most famous tattoos? The 2 tattoos that most people have.
I would say probably the anchor. That was a big one. Like people, used to have.
That's
like
a good one. That's a good one. Not in the top 5, but that's a good one.
Not in the top 5. Okay, interesting.
Mother
or mom. That was a big.
No, not in the top 5.
Is there a time frame of this? Because I'm thinking like this. All the ones I'm going over are from like the cartoons I saw in the 50s or whatever. Too. I should do more. Like I would say the sparrows, because that's a big thing for sailors, right? When they go around the world, they get the sparrow.
There's no birds.
no birds at all.
All right, let me give this to you. All right,
we're in this world anymore, Rob.
No, that's okay. All right, here we're gonna go work back from number 5, the snake.
Okay.
Number 4, the flower.
Okay.
Number 3, dragons.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Number 2, roses.
Oh,
and number 1, with an average number of monthly Google searches in the amount of 201,000.
Ooh,
the butterfly.
Oh. Okay. All right. I guess it makes sense. I guess better than like in the 90s when it would have been barbed wire, chain link, tribal.
Who knows? I mean, it's not Tony Stark, though. I can tell you that.
No. As far as we know, not a piece of ink on dear Tony Stark, as we discover him here in 2013 in Iron Man 3, directed by Shane Black, written by Shane Black and Drew Pearce. As we resume our little adventure, we find that Tony is still in the news van with Gary, his apparently number 1 fan, at least as far as we've seen in the MCU, and they're still having this very intense conversation. And Gary says. It comes back from when it ended on awkward. So the full sentence says, I don't want to make things awkward for you, but I do have to show you. Boom. And he pulls up his arm to reveal a Tony Stark tattoo.
Well, or Hispanic Scott Baio. I mean, either way.
He says, Hispanic Scott Baio. I'm sorry, is that me? For those of you who don't know, Scott Baio is an American actor. He's known for playing Chachi on the sitcom Happy Days and its spinoff Joni Loves Chachi. He was also the title character in Charles in Charge. And more recently, he appeared in 4 episodes of Arrested Development, playing Bob Loblaw, which is just fun to say. He took over the role from Henry Winkler, which was a fun little twist of fate. He also helped found the Bailey Baio Angel Foundation to provide financial support for families who are dealing with metabolic disorders, and it is still up there doing their best to help families. And if you have fond memories of Scott Baio, don't Google him. Okay, move on. So Gary says,
we'll just Charles in charge. Charles.
I mean, I had them do it off a doll that I made, so it's not like off of a picture. So it's a little bit
time out, man. Okay, it's not that bad. It's perfect.
It's not that bad. It actually was a really pretty good tattoo.
I think Tony could have been a little more generous in his appreciation for his fans.
Right. I mean, he did get Tony Stark on his arm, not Iron Man. So, I mean, it is basically off of the guy, not off of the suit. So, I mean, that is a sign of that he is a true fan. And then behind them, we see, once again, the glowing Sun Oracle. That's the theme of Iron Man 3, is they want their advertisements to glow so that they can show up prominently. So Tony then is trying to calm Gary down. He says, Gary, listen to me, okay? I don't want to clip your wings here. We're both a little overexcited, which I think is fun. Like, we're both a little overexcited. I got an issue. I'm chasing bad guys. I'm trying to grab a little something from the hard crypt data files. I don't have enough juice. I need you to jump on the roof, right? Recalibrate the ISDNs, pump it up to about 40%. Okay. ISDN is the Integrated Service Digital Network. It's a circuit switched network telephone system that transmits both data and voice over a single digital line. This was, pretty good technology at the time. It has now since been phased out. As of 2022, they have depreciated all the ISDNs out there in favor of newer, more modern technologies. But this is essentially what was good at the time. So do you have it? You have some tech insight you want to do?
Would you actually say that? Would you recalibrate the ISDNs? Is that what you would say?
No.
No one was saying that.
You don't have control over the ISDN. Like, you're using it. Like,
Can I tell you something? I'm a little bit. This bothers me because all he had to say was, can you go up on top of the van and recalibrate the dish?
Yes.
And everyone would have understood that.
Right.
That seems a little.
A bunch of technical gobbledygook to try and.
Yeah, this is an ER, man. Like, what are you doing? Or Doctor Who? This isn't.
Mr. Robot. Yeah.
This is not reversing the polarity. Just change. Just up the dish, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, just vague it up so you do. But I can tell you though that in these couple minutes, there is some pretty decent tech stuff that they do here.
Oh yeah,
that must have been like the digital effects team. Clearly, who are the computer nerds who were working on Iron Man 3? Gary is now locked in. He has it. He says, "Got it." Tony says, "All right, it's a mission." Gary says, "Yeah." Tony needs Gary. And then Gary says, and Gary needs, and then Tony cuts him off and says, "Be quiet about it." Go. Gary says, yeah. So he goes that. So then we see, then Tony sits in and starts doing some serious, intense typing acting. But then when we cut to the screens, so on the screens, then we see a bunch of stuff go by. Now there's a lot of data on here, so I'm not going to go through all of it. Just a couple of things that I picked out, and then if you have things that you noticed as well, we can talk about. So he puts in first his IP address is 934.554.32.3. It doesn't mean anything, and honestly, it shouldn't exist. Like they're just I work in IT. There is no IP address that is that high. Everything is much lower. So, I mean, this is smart in their turn for not putting in an actual IP address that people would go in and type in, because I absolutely try it and get to it. And nothing happens. Like there's nothing there. It is. I looked and I found out there was some people on Reddit had a long discussion of this. They got really technical about it and like why this wouldn't work and stuff too. And one of the comments that I particularly enjoyed was someone said, "This is the equivalent of a 555 telephone number."
Right.
It just doesn't exist. Like there is nothing out there that's using this as an IP address. Most are in the hundreds. But what's interesting then when they switch screens to do it, then it changes to 78.397.17.610, which is an actual IP address, which is something that conceivably could be used. So I don't know why they decided to go for something that couldn't to something else that could.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
I don't know, unless they were just trying to break it down, unless there's some kind of like code in there that someone put in of like, oh, that's my wife's birthday, and whatever it is, they have to put something in there. Then so as Tony's then typing in, he actually does type. I slowed down the screen and he does type in War Machine Rocks as the key, but they're doing the typical password thing of like, as it changes, it switches to asterisk, but that is literally what he types in.
I did like that though. That's a nice little detail that's there.
Exactly. Like they actually took the time to put that in. It wasn't just like, you didn't have just like the line of things that actually did it. You can see the characters changing. So he's going to the JSEC-1 satellite connection status, it says. So I guess he's trying to use government satellites. It doesn't seem like these are Stark tech. I mean, it seems like he's trying to keep off of his own stuff as much as he possibly can. So I think he's going into government satellites to try and do this, because we know now that AIM is connected to the government. As he goes through, then we see it does say AIM systems accessed. It does, and then it says firewalls removed, full access granted. Which, okay, which accurate. However, that means that you've shut down the firewalls for everyone.
Well, okay.
It means that anybody could get in at this point? Or
is this something specific to Rhodey's login? And he's not using Stark stuff because he still wants people to think he's dead.
Right.
So I like the detail here, because this would be along the lines of what he would be doing.
As Rhodey.
Right.
So like, as far as the computer is concerned, he is going in as Rhodey using whatever level of thing Rhodey has. And so as we're hacking through, and then he finally gets into the AIM systems, that's where he hit minute 67. And then we get to a bunch of data and stuff too. So as he pulls up, the most important thing then he gets to is a list of people. And so on screen, then we see Sergeant Chad Davis, who we've talked about before. We see Ellen Brandt, Jack Taggart, and then 2 new names that we haven't seen before, David Samuels and Drew Gray. So David Samuels is another actor. He is played by Nate Panning. He has 47 acting credits on IMDb. He was in Piranha 3DD, or is it 3 Double D? Probably 3 Double. That's it. They're joking, not ours. And he was also in The Black Knight, starring Martin Lawrence, which is an underrated 90s comedy.
I thought for sure you were going to throw a Richard Dreyfuss joke in there, but we won't get into that.
No, he is in that as well, though. Or is he just in front of the other one? Oh, yeah, I don't know. But,
I don't know. Don't worry.
But one thing I do, because I always like to find like nerd cred. So nerd cred for David Samuels. He actually has done some voices for one of my favorite animated web series, which is How It Should Have Ended, which is a great show. If you ever want to go to that one, they have really good animation, and they have like ongoing stuff with Batman, Superman, where they're sitting in a diner and talking all the time. I'm sure they've come up in people's feeds numerous times, but they have ones for almost all the popular movies that come out. They make a How It Should Have Ended thing, and they actually have made some pretty good points. They've done a lot of Marvel ones. So he's one of the voice actors for there. Okay, and then the last name on the list is Drew Gray. Drew Gray is Drew Gray. Nice. He was a PA on Iron Man 3, and so they put him in the movie.
Sweet.
It's like literally, yeah, I know. It's just like, you know, PA, and then like you show up there, you are on screen. They literally put his picture and his name on the screen. I thought that was pretty cool. So then we get to Tony is then looking through all the videos that are on the AIM server to try and find where he's doing the investigation to try and figure out the connection to AIM, to Chad Davis, to the Mandarin, and all these things. So then there's an interview going on between Chad Davis and Chad Davis talking, and then it cuts to the other angle, and it's Aldrich Killian. So that's when Tony then figures out that Aldrich Killian is involved in this whole thing. And Aldrich says, "What would you regard as the defining moment of your life?" And so Chad Davis says, well, I think it would be the day I decided not to let my injury beat me. So then Tony then goes and does some more typing, and then he brings up the next video, and it's Killian talking to Ellen Brandt, who says her name. And so then we see him explaining how the Extremis process works for these people. So all these people, it turns out, are candidates for the Extremis program. And so he says, the injections are administered periodically. Addiction will not be tolerated. Okay, let's just pause already right there. Addiction will not be tolerated. So is there some sort of addictive property to the Extremis?
Yeah, I didn't fully get, is he talking about that?
Yeah. And we know it soups you up. And It's sort of like, it supercharges you. But I guess, is that what we were supposed to see with Taggart?
Right. Oh, no, that would explain that then.
Yeah, because he couldn't resist it. Like he basically had his next fix. And so he couldn't stop himself from doing it, even though he already had too much in his system.
So this makes you think that, well, then this is one of the problems with Extremis. This is actually one of the issues, is that it's addictive, and it's addictive in all the bad ways that you could possibly imagine. So,
right. As opposed to overdosing and dying,
right?
You overdose and kill everything around. And
you blow up.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So, so this is something they don't really talk about very much through it. So I guess this and that are pretty the only times I can remember they've mentioned any type of thing about that. And maybe that's what can you maintain? I thought maintain was, can you maintain control in terms of like keeping it at bay, because we see them sort of heat up and then able to have the mental fortitude, whatever, to pull themselves back. But maybe it's the maintain means, can you maintain your sanity between doses?
Yeah.
Can you stop from overdosing, which causes the explosion?
Right.
I don't know. Anyways, either way, Extremis, bad all around. So Aldrich continues, and those who cannot regulate will be out of the program. So we're typing. He brings up another video.
Well, wait. In this interview with Ellen Brandt, we find out something about Ellen Brandt.
Yes, we find out that she is missing part of her arm. So from the elbow down is gone. Presumably, it was lost in combat because she was a veteran. Right. But we see that we don't know exactly what was going on with Chad, but something along the same lines we would assume. So then we see them all together, and Aldrich is giving a big speech about what this thing is. So we're sort of joining it in the middle here. It says, once misfits, cripples, which once again, that ableist language from 2013.
Well, he's the villain.
He's the villain. You are the next iteration of human evolution. Everybody, before we start, I promise you, looking back at your life, there will be nothing as bitter as the memory of that glorious risk you prudently elected to forego. Wow.
Okay.
You know that was written like that someone like one of his speechwriters went like, oh, you need to have a really good thing because this is going to be in the record and all this kind of stuff, because who naturally would say nothing as bitter as the memory of that glorious risk you prudently elected to forego?
Well, except for somebody who's really really into theatrics.
Yes. Today is your glory. And they cut to let's begin. And so we see then Ellen get injected with the Extremis, and her arm begins growing back. And we have not really seen this close up before. The top half of her arm sort of gets black and red molten.
Looks like lava. Yeah, it's a lava
yeah.
effect. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen healing before too, but we never really from scratch like this of like building something that was there and was gone, that it is actually going through. It's this really cool sort of crackling lava effect as her arm is then rebuilt, and the same, the internal glow that we have seen before. Two things talk about this. Yeah.
Well, first of all, that effect is great because it's not only is it the effect well done, the filtering of it looking like it was recorded on a camcorder is great. Right. It just all fits. It's super great effect work here. But did we talk about two things about this? So before he goes to the video clip of this, it gives the date of this injection test. Mm-hmm. And it is June 25th, 2009.
Yes.
2009 in the MCU, Tony's just becoming Iron Man, right?
Right.
So
it's all during in his first year of being.
Okay, so I missed this first time I saw the movie. That's wild to think this is going on as Tony's building the arc reactor, right? Like,
somewhere in there, yeah. So I looked in to see what in the official MCU timeline was happening about this time, and there wasn't really anything like in that within a couple of months forward or backward, significant enough to do, because this is sort of one of the more gray periods. But what's interesting is by the MCU timeline, like a couple of days after these tests happen is when Janet Van Dyne finds Victor Timely crashed in the pod inside the microverse, or the quantum realm. Sorry, microverse.
Wow.
MCU thing. Yeah, I was like, but I didn't think time passed the same way. But I don't know.
But I will tell you though, 2009. There are a lot of things happen in 2009. Like, that's kind of wild. The other thing I just want to say is when right before they get to this, when he's talking about this, you see this security camera shot, 4 shots, and it's the AIM sort of like security system. Dude, the place that they are bringing these people to put these experiments on them looks like the bowels of a medieval dungeon run by Hydra. These people must have thought. I mean, I think what a little detail is, these people were so eager to have their injuries or whatever they were dealing with to have it be repaired, so to speak. Yeah. Did not any of these people go, this doesn't look good. This looks bad.
Yeah, I know. You kind of wonder what the pre-briefing was like.
Right? Like,
what, did he explain about the fire and the flames and all that stuff? Or was it just like, there'll be some discomfort?
In fact, there's one of the test subjects. Well, you see it because if you look at the lower right one, it's camera 4, and it's an African-American subject. He's looking around like, I made a mistake. What am I doing? Which I love that little moment in there because I missed it, obviously, the first time I saw the movie. He's like, this is bad.
Well, to AIM's, to give them some credit, to give AIM some credit, there's a good chance these people are going to blow up. So you don't want to have anything that can be seen from space. Like they're probably in a bunker way deep down, because what if something goes terribly wrong? Oh, wait, something's about to go terribly wrong.
So okay,
you don't want to have it in your high-tech lab and all your stuff. You really want to probably rent a space or
in a place that no one knows anything about.
Exactly.
Now here's the thing. Okay, so Tony's got some great reactions to all these things, which again I missed the first time. So when he sees, first of all, that she is an amputee, he's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
The person I fought was not, right? And then he has this when the effect starts to happen where her arm starts to regrow back. He has this look of he does the slow blink of his eyes to like. I actually think he's got the moment where he goes, "I've seen this effect before."
Oh.
And I think he's starting to connect what's going on here because he knows he's seen it.
Yeah, it was
a long time ago on New Year's Eve.
You're thinking that. You're thinking all the way back to the
he's realizing I've seen this technology happened on a plant, but I think that's all part of that. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, I like it. So then, hey, looks like everything's about to go terribly wrong because they go down the line, everyone sees, and at the very end, credited as the screaming extremist candidate, this is Cullen Moss. So he has 102 acting credits on IMDb. It's very difficult to see because he is screaming and being lit from the inside. But his big break was being in The Notebook. He played Bodhi. He also was on One Tree Hill as Junk. I didn't watch One Tree Hill, so I don't know if that's a significant character or not, but he was on a lot of it.
I don't know.
His other significant roles, he was on True Detective, Righteous Gemstones, Your Honor, and Outer Banks, which is another show that has come up a couple of times as we've been doing this. So he apparently he cannot maintain. So he can't regulate, I should say. And so he starts, going, and then immediately Killian knows what's going on and says, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here. Get him out of here. And so he shuffles everybody out of the room and then probably closes the blast door. And then we see this patient explode as we've seen before. And that is also an explosion that Tony has seen before. Right. So once again, we get to come back to him going, oh, like the penny drops. And so we see Tony is muttering to himself and he says, a bomb is not a bomb when it's a misfire. He says, the stuff doesn't always work, right, pal? It's faulty, but you found a buyer, didn't you? Sold it to the Mandarin. I got you, pal. Okay, well, he's done some good detective work here. He has gone through. He hacked in the satellite. He using roadie stuff, so they probably don't even know that he knows this. Got into AIM's servers, found the data, connected Chad Davis to Killian, to AIM, to Extremis, to Brandt, and then comes to the wrong conclusion. But they're putting it out in front of us, like they're putting it out like it.
So maybe I was wrong. Maybe he didn't have a flashback. Well, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. Say where he's putting the pieces together. But I think at this point we're supposed to be caught up to Tony. So like now we've known this all along because we've seen all the behind the scenes stuff. We've seen the villain stuff that Tony hasn't seen. But now the audience and Tony are together. We know everything that's going on at the same time. And then from this point, then it will split. But at this point, we think we know what's going on. So cut to sunny California. So this is the Terreno Resort at 100 Terreno Way, Ranchos Palos Verde, California. It is still there, still operation. And it's about $1,000 a night.
It's a nice place. It's a nice place.
It's a very nice place if you can afford $1,000. And at $1,000, that's pretty low. Like in terms of like what I look, but that would probably be like the room next to the ice machine without a window because it goes up from there very, very quickly. And I was looking at dates, as recording that's not in the holiday season, so this would be their off season, and it is still pricey. So I mean, if you want to have a luxury time, the Terreno Resort is there for you.
That's not a place that you would think would care about like advertising themselves as with rates starting at $1,000 a day. I don't think.
No,
not
at all. We see then this is where Pepper took Maya. So the two of them had gotten a resort. Hopefully that, Pepper is smart enough to have checked in under a fake name or something like that. Sure. Someone did just blow up the house that she's been.
And very nice of her to take care of Maya because I feel bad for Maya.
Yeah, I know.
She just showed up. She's trying to help. She's trying to help Tony.
Right.
She gets blown up.
She's a whistleblower that she's trying to. She was just a victim of circumstance. She was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
That's exactly right.
Poor Maya. So they're talking, and once again, it feels like we came into a longer conversation. So Maya is already sort of ruminating on something, and she says, "What happened? Fun fact: before he built rockets for the Nazis, the idealistic Werner von Braun dreamed of space travel. He stargazed. Do you know what he said when the first V2 hit London? The rocket performed perfectly. It just landed on the wrong planet.
True. Which is completely true.
True-ish. I did some digging into this to find out what it is.
Wait, what?
It might not have been like it at that moment that he said that. There's a couple things where people are like, this is sort of adapted from a thing that he said in a book that he wrote like 20 years later. So it might have been like in hindsight he said this thing. It wasn't like he watched the rocket hit and it was like, you know what? It's like it's not the Oppenheimer I have become death thing, which
I will tell you this.
People in the room that saw that happen.
Look, and I'm just gonna say this. We alluded to this at the beginning of the top of the show. What a very interesting character in the story of human history. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we're not going to get into the whole depths of this, but I will tell you that there's a quote I read, and I forget who the person is a long time ago, because I've always been fascinated with the space program, that we would not have gotten to the moon without Werner von Braun. We would not. That is absolutely known. So I don't know, like you hope that no matter how where our lives take us, that somehow we fix what we've damaged we caused.
That you can make good out of bad. That Operation Paperclip gave us more than it took from us.
I don't know. This you could go down a very interesting rabbit hole with this, and if you choose to do that, you should. There you go.
Don't say that he's hypocritical. Say rather that he's apolitical. Once the rockets are up, who cares where they come down? That's not my department, says Werner von Braun.
And that is, of course, from the Tom Lehrer song, Werner von Braun.
Oh, boy.
It shows up in For All Mankind, which we should mention as well, because For All Mankind is an alternate history of the space program and what if it had gone a different direction. And Werner von Braun is a character in that. And they even cut to that Tom Lehrer singing that song in it when it all starts to fall apart. It's a good show. If you have Apple TV Plus, it is one of the best shows they have out there, but not a lot of people have Apple TV Plus, so it doesn't get enough credit.
Do the trial, take 2 weekends, watch everything.
Yes. We should provide a whole list of the stuff. Here's what you need to watch for the weekend. So anyways, in this moment at minute 69, starts, Maya is still continuing on with her moment. And she says, we all begin wide-eyed. Pure science. And then the ego steps in, the obsession, and you look up, you're a long way from shore. Like, okay, let's just pause for a minute. I don't know if this was Shane Black or Drew Pierce, but that's a really beautiful written speech.
Oh, it is.
Like, this is about, you're bringing in science, you're bringing in history, you're bringing in regret. Like, all of a sudden we're leading to something here too, but like, it is a nice moment that she gets at, because honestly, Maya doesn't not get a lot of great moments in this movie. So it's nice that they actually get, I feel like a lot of her stuff was on the cutting room floor, which we'll talk about coming up with some things we know. But it's nice that we get to see a little of this, that she's not the innocent waif who got suckered in by a thing, but she's also not the completely bwahaha scientist. She's somewhere in between, where she's regretting it, and she realizes that she is far from shore, even though she's not admitting that to Pepper at this point. But it's a nice moment. And then Pepper responds, you can't be too hard on yourself, Maya, which I'm like, oh man, if you knew what was about to happen.
What's about to happen? What are you talking about? Pepper. Pepper's just being nice.
It's just two ladies having a nice conversation.
No,
absolutely. They're probably going to go get mani-pedis and go to the spa.
Okay, that was a little much, but yeah.
Maybe, get drinks at the bar. I mean, what could possibly go wrong here?
Okay.
Pepper says, you can't be too hard on yourself. I mean, you gave your research to a think tank, which, okay. I don't know why that would immediately be something evil, but she said, yeah, but Killian built that think tank on military contracts, which is so like, okay, this is what we alluded to before, but now we have definite confirmation that AIM and government connected. Pepper says, that's exactly what we used to do. Oh. So don't judge yourself, which is, how did you make your money, Stark?
Yeah. That's very nice of Pepper. Pepper's being very empathetic.
Yeah.
She's being great.
She says, thank you, Pepper. I really appreciate that. So there's a knock on the door, and Pepper gets up, and there's a beautiful look from Maya like she knows kind of what's about to happen. She doesn't want it to, but she's going to let it happen. It's just this like this great facial expression she has of like, oh, here we go. Like she knows this is what it is. There's like this quiet, nice moment, this moment of someone even giving her a little bit of penance. It's over.
So she does a wonderful job of even the gulp.
Yeah.
You can see it, and it is. No, it's great.
Yeah, Pepper goes over, opens the door, and it's room service being delivered by Jacob DeWitt. He has 54 stunt credits on IMDb. This dude has been in a lot of nerdy stuff. Spider-Man 2 and 3, X-Men First Class, Green Lantern, Deadpool, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Thor Love and Thunder, Ant-Man Wasp Quantumania, and will show up with Shane Black again in The Nice Guys. But he has a very short time on screen here because he immediately has his neck snapped by Killian and drops to the ground. And Pepper, once again, still being like a really good friend, mentor, helper, whatever, says, Maya, run.
Yeah, run.
Yeah. But Killian then grabs Pepper by the arm. He spins her around, slams against the wall, and holds her by the neck. And I don't know if she's off the ground, but she is definitely pinned to the wall by him.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. I say you don't think that she's actually like being like held up by her like jaw, do you?
No. But he's
held in place essentially.
Yeah, right.
So again, Killian says, "Hi, Pepper." When minute 70 starts, then Killian immediately turns to Maya and says, so you want to tell me why you were at Stark's mansion last night? Which is like, oh, then now Pepper gets it like, oh no, they've been in this together for the whole time. It's like, and so Maya immediately switch like, code switch. She immediately turns into the Dr. Hansen that probably works for Killian and says, I'm trying to fix this thing. I didn't know you and the master were going to blow the place up. Okay. So there we go. Let's pause there. I didn't know you and the master were going to blow it up. So we talked about that before. Before compartmentalization. She doesn't know about Trevor. This is my thought. Like because she was cut out of that whole part of the like that whole wing of what.
So she thinks. Okay, wait. By the way, can I just say something?
Sure.
And even though I've seen this movie before, at that moment, and I want to put this as nicely and as peacefully as I can say, but Maya, this. I mean, for real. Let me say this. My God, everyone's trying to be nice to you. Pepper, but she gave you an out for your moral fortitude. And you've got to be kidding me. Ugh.
No, break this down for me. Tell me, why are you so specifically angry at Maya?
Because, my God, she was trying to fix plants, for the love of God. Like, what is the deal? And you could do so much good with this.
Yeah, noble intentions. I mean, she did restore a number of soldiers who had been injured in the line. It just
made them into murdering machines. I mean,
a price has to be paid, right?
Pepper.
This is the devil's advocate part of it.
Just the whole,
this is the whole Werner von Braun thing. Like, she did have noble intentions and it worked. It just happened that her particular rockets landed on the wrong planet. Wow. One of them in Rose Hill, Tennessee.
Wait. Her particular rockets landed on the wrong planet. Yes. is the title for this episode.
Take note of that, Andy Nelson.
Her particular rockets. That's exact. I'm telling you. No, we'll talk about this in just a little bit about when we get to halftime. Anyway.
So I'm not trying to get Maya entirely off the hook because she is complicit in all of these things.
Yes.
She knows that they're unstable. She knows they're out there and they're blowing up. And is not, either cannot or is not doing anything to stop that. So I'm not trying to say that she's, entirely blameless in this thing. But I don't think she is in on everything because when she talks about the master, because I think she knows that Killian is working with the Mandarin on all that stuff. But that's okay, that's another wing. I don't go to Miami. I don't work on that kind of. Well,
but also,
I think But she doesn't have any connection to that side of it because she really thinks there is a Mandarin and he is working for the Mandarin.
But doesn't that sound creepy, cultish? Like,
oh, yes.
The master.
Right.
Well, it's the Mandarin. Okay, like it's the Mandarin, the boss, whatever. When you say that, it makes...
But even when he showed up in the thing for his presentation or whatever, like the master's on the, like they referred to him that way. And I'm sure that was part of the branding package of whenever he's around, you refer to him as the master.
She's the dumbest, smartest person in this movie.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
Anyway.
So, and my sister, you, the master, going to blow the place up. Killian says, "Oh, I see. So you were trying to save Stark when he threatened us," which is, well, it's like, well, yes, but also she was going there before that happened. Like, I think that she was already in motion to go to Stark's place before he was ultimatum, because that happens within a couple of hours, right? So she would already had to be, once again, the weird transit of this gang of the Mandarin's group. She had to be in motion, because if she came from her lab, which I believe is in Miami, isn't that where we'll find out later on?
Yeah.
To get there, she already had to be in before any of the Stark, walked out of the hospital and was ultimatum.
This doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know.
Yeah. Right. So Maya said, "I told you, Killian, we can use him." And then Pepper, meanwhile, is trying to free herself. And
pretty funnily, this is actually very funny.
Yeah, she's trying to, and then Killian is just getting annoyed, but he's not being mean about it. He's just being like, Pepper, like, please, can you stop struggling? I'm trying to have a conversation here. It's very, very dismissive. And Maya then says, "Look, if we want to launch product next year, I need Stark. He just lacked a decent incentive. Now he has one." Okay, so now all these type of like, she's conflicted, like, has gone out the window, because she basically said, "Oh, well, we've kidnapped his lady love, so now he'll do whatever we want." So
I was right.
Roll forward. You were right. Yeah,
I was right.
Gone from, like any type of like moral relativism of her like wavering a bit, now has gone completely into like.
Dude, let me ask you this. So at this point, right there, now well, she's trash, right? And like
next year, like it's December. Like she wants to launch in like Q1. Wow.
Was she always like this? What do you think? I'm not understanding where this character, and you said there's parts of this her performance that are not in the movie, right?
Yeah, we'll wait until like the end of her arc, and then we'll talk about a little bit about where things might have gone. But
because
this is
Killian,
also
I get Killian's turn.
She's like only been in like one or two comics ever. And she's dead by this point in the actual comic Extremis story. So this is all, MCU creation stuff. So we really don't know. Was she always willing to do anything? Well, I say maybe we'll save some of that too, because there'll be a flashback coming, and we'll learn a little bit more of that. But we now see that she is, a loyal soldier to this cause. So we then cut from there to Iron Patriot / War Machine. So Rhodey is flying across the sky in his new red, white, and blue armor. We hear a voice on the radio say, "This is support Team Blue Zero," which I'm like, ooh, Team Blue Zero. There's another team that we can add to our list of teams that we've encountered in our time here at the Marvel Movie Minute. "Sending coordinates for a suspected Mandarin broadcast point of origin." So Rhodey says, "Copy." And then he drops down to the ground, breaks down a door, and people start freaking out. He says, "Nobody move." And he sees it's a room full of women in full burqas sewing. Essentially, like there's a bunch of sewing machines they're making clothes. So this is clearly not the Mandarin's base. And Rhodey is embarrassed for the second time of like, man, come on, Team Blue Zero. Give me some better intel. Let's go.
Can I bring up some of the cool parts of this?
Sure.
One, the shot of him in flight when the camera comes in and rests sort of like right in front of him. The suit looks great. It's a hideous paint scheme. It's all ridiculous, but it is a cool shot of the Iron Patriot. And this is Iron Patriot Mark II. Did we talk about that?
I think there's only ever been one.
Okay.
I think they just keep taking the same armor and like slightly changing it.
Okay. All right.
This is Iron Man Mark II.
This is the Mark II suit, but it's obviously been
has been heavily modified by Justin Hammer, and then now and then in the U.S. government, and then maybe slightly by AIM.
Okay, one of the things I love the little detail of this is that when it goes to his in-helmet view and you see the overheads, just like a fighter pilot would have, they're green.
Just like they were in Iron Man 2.
Just like we talked about this in Iron Man 2. And then as soon as he breaks in and you see him in battle mode, they turn to red. And I love that. That's sort of like full blown soldier. Hey, okay, now we're in combat mode and all of these things change. I love that artistic detail in this. Very nicely done.
I also like that they resisted the urge to make his display look just like Tony's current display, because it's still, this is a couple generations behind. So like he's running Windows 95 and Tony is on Windows 11. Yeah, I mean, it's same but different. So it is the militaristic. It's a militaristic example of it. And then okay, not only is it cool to see the green then the red, you see it literally power down as soon as he realizes that okay, there's nobody here armed. You see the interface actually transition from the active status to the deactive status. I love that. That is a great detail in this. Yeah, and they have done some improvements on the armor, because we see the shoulder cannon is a little bit smaller than it has been before, and now he has the weapons embedded in the armor that come up. Where it used to be they were just strapped onto the side. Like in that final fight in Iron Man 2, they're literally like strapped to his arm. But now we have them that they're actually integrated and they come up just like Iron Man's do in a less high-tech way. But still, there has been
looks
some
sharp.
improvements. It does. It looks really good. So everyone starts screaming and figuring out. He says, support Blue Zero. Unless the Mandarin's next attack is on the U.S. involves cheaply made sportswear, I think you messed up again. And then all the women in there start running at him and stuff too. And he says, yes, you're free. If you weren't before. I was like, oh man.
America.
Okay. And then the people are like sort of like, tapping on the armor as they're going by and stuff too. He said, yes, of course. Yes, ma'am. Iron Patriot on the job. And that is where minute 70 comes to an end. So we have, a lot of pieces are in motion now. We got to see in these set of minutes, we got to see almost all the major players in one way, shape, or form, including Gary. So we have a lot of plot machinations. So so I think if by the reckoning of my clock, I believe we have hit halftime on Iron Man 3.
I want to throw several flags to carry through our little American football metaphor. I think everybody in this movie sucks.
If you're going to do colors, you're going to lose me instantly because I know nothing.
I was going to say that yellow flag. No, everybody in this movie sucks. Every character. If there's one character, if you could say who is the only redeeming character so far in this movie, it's Harley.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's it. I see. Everyone else, ugh. Well, I have issues with everybody.
Pepper hasn't had a lot to do. So, I mean, she was sort of a little bit, swayed by Killian, but she also did say no to him in that meeting. But
she was swayed. She
was wavering, but also she might have just been being polite because when you're, around powerful aggro males, you tend to just be like, hey, let's not head on. Let's take a break.
She got mesmerized by all the bad people. Happy's a fool. He's concerned about name badge, security badges, gets blown up. Tony starts off horrible, trashiest version of Tony ever. Well, and Tony's still got issues. I know. Still, Killian's a mess. Maya clearly not happy with. Brody doesn't seem to know what's going on. For crying out loud. The Savin's a dork. It's all... I don't even think Jarvis doesn't have a clue of what's going on.
Oh, actually, to go back, since we're here at the pause, we can go back and address some stuff. In the commentary, they did talk about your issues with Jarvis and the missile attack on the base. And they directly said, yeah, we thought people might have a problem with this, but we decided it was too good of a moment to pass up, so we decided to do it. So yes, they literally made the decision to not have any type of like security or Jarvis or anything to do it so that the missile attack could go off, because they they wanted the moment of Maya looking at the screen and not necessarily Maya, but looking at the television screen of the news footage and having the missile head towards them. And that's how they see that it's coming. And they justified it by saying there are a lot of helicopters around. And when I went back and I watched that scene again after hearing that, there are 3 helicopters that are directly involved in the attack, but in the wide shots there's probably a dozen news helicopters. So their justification was there's a bunch of news copters. Jarvis doesn't know which ones are actual threats.
Bruh.
Does it make it better or worse that they directly heard that?
For our millennial listeners, bruh. Come on, man. What? Oh, no. I don't like the suit. I don't like any of the suits. Okay. Right now, man, I'm just not. This is why I never saw this movie again. That's how I feel right now. This is why I have not been turned. The only thing that I like so far about this movie, the music. Thank you, Brian Tyler.
Oh, yeah,
seriously, that right now, that's it. And Harley a little bit, but he's kind of annoying.
Shout out to probably like 15 different CG crews that worked on it too. Because the effects have held up extremely well. That Extremis effect is amazing. The Mark 42 armor, when it does its thing, is amazing.
Yes,
all that stuff has been good. There's been even in Hulk there were some dodgy effects where you kind of go, oh, okay, but this is held up visual wise.
I mean, yeah, it's just the story is not. I don't get it. By the way, and I know, and we can argue about this. Right now, I don't know how anybody could think this is a better movie than Iron Man 2.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think it holds together as a piece better. I mean, here we're at halftime, and we'll see how I feel when we get to the end of it. But Iron Man 2, as much as we spent a lot of time discussing it, is a lot of just a series of scenes.
As all movies are. What do you mean?
As opposed to a continuous story, like Iron Man 3 has a definite story. Like, is a story that you are in favor of? It seems like not, but it is a definite Tony Stark's dark time of bottoming out, and then Kevin pulls up together, and then coming out at the end. Sort of the Phoenix story of it. It's like, is he Prometheus? Is he Sisyphus? We don't know at this point, but he is going through some serious stuff right now and making bad decisions, which is a Tony Stark trademark. He has made bad decisions consistently a lot through there. Enough good ones that it outweighs the bad, but that's sort of where we're at with everything going on in this, is that moral relativism of bad for good. Like, how much evil are you willing to either put up with or allow into the world to let good things happen? I mean, Stark did build his empire on blood and death, and now he's trying to get out of it. Maya also has blood in hand. So is she not worthy of redemption where Tony Stark is, just because she doesn't have a cool suit? I mean,
oh, wow. Okay.
Killian doesn't have that much. He has more of a, a little guy gets beat up and then learns to beat up on other people thing going on. But and so my frustration with is I can see elements of this could have gone, you could have done it just if you a little bit more here, and that frustrates me more than judging what I see the pieces that are missing where you could have gone to make it that much more deeper. But also, this is a movie that comes out in May. So you always have to read on a curve.
You know what could redeem it for me?
What's that?
When we learn more about the Mandarin.
Well, I think you might come out. I think you're gonna have to be a little bit patient because it's not going to be happening anytime soon. But as you're waiting for the revelation of this warlord, why don't you head over to truestory.fm/join and hop in the discussion boards and see it's halftime. So maybe it's a good time to go in and weigh in on where you're feeling about Iron Man.
Put down your nachos. And your beverages.
That's right. Have we moved you? Have we moved the needle one way or the other? Do you like it more, like it less? I don't know. I'm still making up my mind about it. I could definitely change you that. I am in transition. I'm not feeling about it the same way I was before, but I don't know where I'm going to land on it here at halftime. But in the meantime, if you want to head there, give us If you can do $5 a month, if you can do $55 a year, it would help us to keep making stuff because bandwidth ain't free. And get some cool stuff out of it too. So while you're waiting for that revelation and you're spending your time in either California or Miami enjoying the sun, we'll be back to take you on a journey across the MCU. Be there. Enough said.
Bye.